So this is the Solving Equations Unit Final Assessment Tips for parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. So your grade's going to be out of 50 points for knowledge and thinking, and you're supposed to do each part and read the instructions. So part 1, answer the following questions correctly to get a score of up to 34. Out of 50, you do not need to show your work on these problems. So problem 1 here is x plus 3 equals 9. So you can click the video to help. However, I'll go through how to solve that problem. So x is a variable. It stands for something you don't know. So it's some number plus 3 equals 9, right? What number is x? So you can mental math and figure out that 6 plus 3 equals 9. So you know x is 6. Or you can set it up and you can do the one-step equations by doing the opposite of what's there. So subtracting 3 from both sides, you'll be left with x on that side, because the plus 3 minus 3 cancel, equals 9 minus 3 is 6. So x equals 6 would be our first answer. For the second problem, x minus 3, so it's what number minus 3 equals 9. So when you're subtracting, the opposite of that would be to add 3 to both sides. Oops, that looks funny. Add 3 to that side and add 3 to this side. So you'd end up with x equals 9 plus 3 is 12. So those are the first two types of problems, addition and subtraction. As you move on, you'll see problems like multiplication here. So this is 3 times x. I know there's no parentheses, but you're actually multiplying. Whenever there's no operation, that means multiply. 3 times what number equals 9? To solve, you might just know that 3 times 3 equals 9, so x would equal 3. Or you can divide both sides by 3. So I would do it like this. Show my work. Divide by 3 on that side. The slash on the question mark is divide. So divide by 3. That would be x equals 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And then the division problems, x divided by 2 equals 4. When you're dividing by 2, to get rid of it, you actually multiply. So x divided by 2, remember the slash means multiply. You can actually multiply both sides. 4 times 2. The 2's would cancel. You'd be left with x equals 4 times 2, which is 8. And 8 divided by 2 does equal 4, so that would check out. So that is how you're going to solve those types of problems. Let's keep going. So now we're into the inequalities here. So inequalities, you're going to solve it the exact same way. So you could think of it as x plus 3 equals. However, you don't want to do the equals at the end, but you could treat it like that. So what number plus 3 will equal 4? Well, I know 1 plus 3 equals 4. So I know that x actually has to be, less than 1, right? You just bring back the symbol that was in the question, and that would be your answer. And I know that by, let's go through and see how to solve this step by step now. So we have x plus 3 is less than 4. So what number plus 3 will be less than 4? Any number that's less than 1, because if you plug in 1, it would be 4 equals 4, and that wouldn't be right. But if you plugged in 0, 0 plus 3 would be 3, right? Would be 3, which is less than 4, so that makes it true. So in order for the inequality to be true, x has to be less than 1. Same thing over here. You're going to solve it, add 3 to both sides, and get your answer. For the division and multiplication as well, when you're multiplying to get x by itself, you divide. So 2x, you divide both sides by 2. So you'd be left with x is greater than 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Now, if you want to double check, you can plug in any number greater than 4. So 2 times 5 would equal 10, which is greater than 8. So that would make sense. So you solve them the same way you would solve any equation. So that is all the parts for part 1. In this problem, you're just figuring out in which of these x equals 3. Hint, 2 of these, x does equal 3. The other 2, it does not. Let's keep going. So part 2, so this is where you'll want to show your work. So in some of these, the first 2 are one-step equations. They just have some negatives in there. For this one, you might know that 10 minus 2 equals 8. But when you have minus x equals 8, you can actually do 2 steps. You can add x to both sides and then subtract 8, or you can just do mental math here. For this one, you have a negative, so you want to make sure you divide both sides by -2, not just 2. Okay, now the 2-step equations are really important. These are, you want to really watch these videos here. They will help you go through the logic of solving a 2-step equation. We've done this a lot, but when you're solving 2-step equations, you're using reverse order of operations to undo everything so that x ends up by itself. So for this one here, reverse order of operations means you're going to start with addition or subtraction. So you want to start by removing the +3. So you would subtract 3 from both sides, and then you would divide by 3. So you really want to make sure you're doing 2-step equations with these and you're following reverse order of operations for all 4 of these. Now some people are mistaking these ones here. This is x divided by 2. So you don't want to deal with the fraction until you've gotten rid of the +2 and the +3. This is x divided by 2. Then you deal with it. Okay, part 3. So, problem 1. Explain how to solve this problem step by step and then solve it. So, this video really will help you solve it, but there was a self-led pear deck on how to deal with fractions. So when you're dealing with fractions, you actually multiply by the inverse. So, of this number. So I would really suggest watching this video. It's going to walk you through step by step on how to multiply by the inverse, and you actually multiply both sides by the inverse. Let's keep going. So for this one, you can use a calculator to solve, but you have to show your work. So it's a 1-step equation, so don't get it confused. You still want to get k by itself. Keep going. So for this one, I know the link actually doesn't really help you, but I'm going to talk you through it. So think about the problem up here where you had a fraction. Remember, though it's an inequality, the goal is still to get the variable t by itself. So to get rid of 2/5, you're going to multiply both sides by 5/2. And then that would cancel the 2/5 on this side. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So you would end up doing the same thing to the other side and solving that way. So for this one, you're solving it the same way. You're multiplying by the inverse, right? 5/2 times 2/5, they cancel. That would equal 1. The 5's cancel, the 2's cancel. So then you'd be left with t on that side, and then you just multiply by that on the other side. Keep going here. For these 2 problems, at the last 2 problems on part 3, they are 2-step inequalities. So you solve them pretty much the exact same way you solve these 2-step equations here. So you want to solve them step by step, following reverse order of operations. Actually, this pear deck might help you with inequalities. But you want to solve them step by step by removing the addition or subtraction first and then the multiplication or division. And then you just keep the inequality the same direction. Part 4 is where it gets kind of hard, and so I can understand if you're a little confused on part 4. So I'm going to walk you through it. So it says solve for R and show all steps. So we have this really confusing problem here, but it's actually not as confusing as you think. So there are 2 ways to solve this. You can either distribute -3 to the R and to the -7. I think that's the harder way, personally. Or you can look at this as -3 times, right? If there's no symbol between -3 and the side of a parenthesis, you know that means multiply. So if you're multiplying by the whole group, you can actually divide both sides by -3. And you might be like, well, wait, what am I doing? Why am I not dealing with the -7 first? So remember, to solve, this is a 2-step equation, right? It's not a simple, so you know it's 2 steps or more to solve it. So you have to remember you're going in reverse order of operations. So you're going PEMDAS in reverse. So the last thing you're actually going to do is parentheses, right? Because in order of operations, that's the first thing you do. in solving equations, it's the last thing you do. So the last thing you want to touch is this r minus 7 in parentheses, right? You don't want to deal with that. So you want to get rid of that negative 3. And since this is multiply, what's the opposite? Divide. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 3 first, and the negative 3's would cancel. On this side, you'd be left with r minus 7. And then there is a trick with the inequality when you're dividing by negative. I'd encourage you to double check that. And then you just divide negative 24 by negative 3, and then you'd have a one-step equation from there. This next one, solve for x. So we have the same type of problem where we have a number outside parentheses and an equal sign. And remember, when you're dealing with the fraction, to get rid of the fraction, you want to multiply by the inverse of that fraction. So the opposite. So you're going to want to do that first to both sides of the equation, and then you'd just be left with what's inside the parentheses. Remember, the parentheses are last in solving two-step equations. Okay, this problem here, solve for x. I see x is inside parentheses, so I want to get rid of what's outside the parentheses first. So I'm going to divide both sides by that number, and then you'd be left with a simple equation to solve. And then the last problem here is just to create your own two-step equation like any of the ones here, but it needs to be different, and then you want to solve it step by step. So be creative on that. So that is how, hopefully that helped you solve some of these and walk you through the reasoning. Make sure you view the resources that are found in each one if you need more help. Good luck.